good, YouTube? Dmgaming, y'all, and it has been a week or a little bit over a week. I can't remember. It's been a while. Yet and still, y'all, I'm here, man. I apologize for my schedule. It's been hectic. Personal training director, y'all. I'm doing my paper route at 3 in the morning, finishing that at about 7, and I'm at work from 8:30 in the morning to about 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night. So time is, I really don't have much time till maybe the weekends or something like that. But y'all, I wanted to talk about Last Chance U. Man, y'all, this season is awesome. So what I'm going to do in the first video, I'm going to give a review of the season and compare it to last season's entirety in a sense. And then in future videos we're going to do, I want to do breakdowns of some people throughout the series. So spoiler alert, if you have not seen it, it's on Netflix. Go and watch it. 8 episodes. It's very much worth your time. A lot of insight. And for me playing the college football, I want to give some insight on that too, because from the outside person looking in on stuff like this, from somebody who's never played football at the collegiate level, or maybe even I'm gonna say the collegiate level, because it's different still from the high school level. There's because you're dealing with adults. So for people on the outside looking in, they may not understand it, and it may get some bad publicity or bad slack. Some players' attitudes and things like that, people may not understand why coaches play players with bad attitudes and things like that, and give them chance after chance after chance. So I'm gonna give insight on that too. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate this new season a 10. I like that they're not trying to be last season's. You could tell the producers kind of wanted something of that effect with the English teacher, and then the coach and stuff like that. But that's one thing I was concerned with. Is it gonna be basically a reskin of EMCC from the past 2 seasons? But it wasn't. And it was refreshing. And the English teacher, I mean, she had a place. She had an impact on those children, but she wasn't put in the forefront as much as Miss Wagner was in season 1 and 2. The head coach, man, I mean, I loved it. I loved it. I mean, the guy was hard-nosed. I mean, in high school, we had a coach, Ronnie Bickham. The guy was hard-nosed the same way. He probably didn't drop as many F-bombs all the time, but the guy was hard-nosed. He was in your face. He didn't care who you were. I mean, it was like that, So, and for some people, I understand everybody doesn't respond to that type of coaching and things like that, but the guy won games. He won games, you see, so you can't argue with results. One thing that jumped out at me was something that he said that, coaches don't win games, players win games, basically. It's not about the X's and the O's. It's about getting that player to believe in you as a coach. And from there, that guy will run through a wall for you. And guys, he is 1,000% true. Now, don't get me wrong. The play calling does matter to an extent, but you can call the perfect play. But if those players are not bought into that system, if they don't believe in you as a coaching staff, if they don't believe in the team, that play success rate is not going to be 100%, and so he was right. And like I said, he's got the evidence to back it up. These guys won games. Now, did he step out of line sometimes? Yeah, who doesn't, But when you look at the totality of what he did, it worked for them. Now, you have to ask yourself, if they had a losing season, then would he still been there? When you're winning, like the guy said in the episodes, when you're winning, people don't care what you do as long as you're winning. But if he was losing, they would have had him out of there, but they didn't. So long story short, the season was good. I mean, he captured the first outright conference championship, and then they won their first bowl game. I like that they were in Independence, Kansas, because the school didn't have a rich history. And I like that because the EMCC, they've got a pretty good history about themselves. But here you have this team that doesn't have a great history as far as their record is concerned and things like that. One of the smaller schools in the nation. And there was rule changes in Kansas, JUCO, that allowed them to have unlimited recruits out of state. And the English teacher brought up an interesting thing about that, that, you know, the radio guy was more racist based, racially based. It was a racially based rule, because back then Kansas was a predominantly white state, and it may very well still be. I don't know. But to keep it that way, they prevented schools from recruiting out of state so that the player base could remain Caucasian and things like that. But they opened up the floodgates, and this coach, who was already really good at recruiting and things like that, took advantage of that. He took advantage of that opportunity and made it count. I think he said they had about 30 guys from out of state. You know, that was huge for them, and it showed what recruiting can do for your program. But he, you know, people knock him because he wasn't the best play caller and things like that. But he never claimed to be. That's the thing. He never once claimed to be the best play caller. But he even says it himself that that he wanted to. I mean, that it wasn't about the players. It wasn't about the play calling. It was about the players and making sure that all, you know, that they were bought into him, bought into the coaching staff, into the system. That's what he operated on. Never once did this guy claim to be the best head coach or the best play caller for the X's and O's. Heck, in the first game of the year, he even allowed the quarterback to call his own plays. Now, a lot of people may see some issues with that, but I think it was very humbling for him to do that, you know. And then the player, Malik, comes around and kind of makes the coach feel bad, or, you know, puts him on blast that, you know, I called that play, you know, after success with it. But you have to look at it like this. That head coach, even though he's the head coach, he understands where this quarterback is coming from. Malik was a very highly rated quarterback out of Florida State. I mean, he was with Jimbo Fisher. So, I mean, as far as running schemes and things like that goes, this kid is top echelon. And so he probably more than likely knows or sees the field a lot better than the head coach does. Hey, no worries, you know, because if people trip off of that, go to the NFL level and tell me if Brian Belichick is calling all the plays. No, I guarantee you guys like Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady are calling their own plays. You see what I'm saying? So take that with a grain of salt. That just shows how much talent this kid has. And we're definitely going to do a segment on him because there's a lot there that I've seen in this. But the entire season was very, very, it had a lot of ups and downs. I'm not going to lie. At the end of it, I was a bit teary-eyed. You know what I'm saying? Because of what they accomplished, seeing everything that these kids went through and what they accomplished. I mean, it is emotional because you could put yourself in that situation. You know, these guys, and the fact that these guys never fully molded as a unit is scary. Because they even said it themselves, man, if we can ever come together as a team, imagine what we can do. It reminds me when I played semi-pro ball down here, and, you know, we had talent, oh my gosh, but we didn't have a team. But we still won games, you know, off of that talent, you know. So, and a lot of people have probably had teams like that, been on teams like that where, you know, the team is just so talented, but there's no unity. Now, that's one issue that junior colleges face. And that's why the head coach said, you know, this is, you know, junior college is probably one of the toughest leagues to play football in. And I agree with him on that. I'm not going to disagree. A lot of people will say, oh, man, no, it's Division I football. That's the toughest. Dude, you have to look at it like this. JUCO, they're there for 2 years. They have to jail and be able to play together a team for 2 years. And if you watch this season, you see a very similar thing in both seasons when you have these guys who transfer to these smaller JUCOs, and they're big-time athletes from big D1 programs, highly coveted out of high school, and they walk around as if, you know, they're snubbing their nose up at JUCO. Malik, the quarterback, he was notorious for this, and it showed throughout the entire season of Last Chance U Season 3. And It's true, man, that these players get in that position, and that's exactly what they do. And it makes it tough for a coach to be able to coach players like that. And then you have the guys who weren't highly recruited out of high school and things like that, just looking for a shot, coming in, doing the right things, doing everything right. And at the end of the day, the coach want to win, so guess who's going to play? And that showed in season 3. There was a running back, his last name Scott. I have to look at his last name. It was Brian or something like that. But the guy he did all the little things right. There was and it showed. When he got a chance, he showed out. Yet and still, the running back who transferred there, where did he transfer? I want to say Texas A&M. You know, and like I said, we're gonna do an in-depth on these players in upcoming videos one by one. But I mean, long story short, the most talented guy played, but it wasn't going to be that way if he didn't wake up. But, you know, and then you have a third string quarterback who comes and ends up being the starter. I mean, there's just so much in here. If you have not seen it, go and watch it. If you liked season 1, if you like season 2, you need to go check out season 3 because there is so much there. I loved it. I really did. I seen people, you know, kind of giving it some slack and things like that, talking about the coach. And I'm not going to lie, they drop a ton of F-bombs in this all the time. F this, F that, the coach is in the face and all this and that. And some people was like, you know, oh, the coach, he's trying too hard or he's doing this or he's doing that. The guy's being himself. And you can tell he's being himself because he even told you he's had several jobs where he wasn't in coaching, where he didn't even last a year. When they were playing Garden State, which, by the way, that head coach for Garden State, Jeff Sims, he was my offensive coordinator when I was at Southern Arkansas University, a Division II school in Magnolia, Arkansas. Cedric Thornton, who's in the NFL right now, Don Unamba, who's in the Canadian League right now. Those guys also were there with Jeff Sims, so they remember him well. And he actually bought the first national championship that Garden State ever had, Garden City ever had. So it was pretty cool to turn on the thing and see somebody that you knew personally and things like that. So and I'm gonna tell you, that guy's a character too, man, but not nowhere near like the head coach for Independence. But he comes from Compton. And I genuinely think he's really being himself, you know. That's just how he is. And he never changed for anybody. I did see a difference in him from the beginning of the season to the end. But then at the same time, we have to take that with a grain of salt because this is a production thing. So they're going to cut things out and edit things and make things appear a little bit different than what they really were. And you had a lot of players that got some good collegiate offers. You had the Cinderella stories. You had the most improved individuals. You know, it all came together to make a very, very entertaining season of Last Chance season 3. Compared to the other two, I think I enjoyed this one a lot more. Because going in, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think that they would have done as good as they did. You know, I was thinking, okay, this guy's finna get fired, or this guy's something bad is finna happen that's gonna derail this entire season. But they answered the call of adversity every single time. Now, they didn't go undefeated. They lost 2 games. However, and that second loss against Butler, we're definitely gonna talk about that because that is huge when it comes to football. A lot of things went on in that game that we're going to talk about. So, but all in all, I mean, the season was great. They had a good season. The head coach, he said he had some other offers and didn't want to go anywhere else. He's going to stay there. He brought life to this town. And what I'm wondering is going forward, is he going to change anything about himself and his coaching staff? Because, I mean, he gave it to the players just like he gave it to the coaching staff. And one of the coaches, the quarterback coach, he actually left after this season. And I would love for I'm gonna try to get with Flemlow and see if he can do like a follow-up story on the coach, kind of see what he's doing and where he's at. Because he was a coach that really cared for the players, and the head coach, they didn't click, But all in all, man, it's an awesome season. I give it a 10 out of 10. Real talk. It's worth it. If you do not, If you have Netflix and you have not watched this, I do not know what you are doing with your life. Now, I know you may say, Dmgaming, well, you really didn't tell us much except that you thought it was really good. I'm trying to give you as much information as I can without just completely spoiling everything. Even though there are some spoilers in there, of course, the record and the bowl game, stuff like that. You know, it ends on a good note. But I'm trying to hold back information for the breakdown videos for not each individual player, but some of the highlight players from the teams, as well as the coaching and stuff like that, because that's where the meat and potatoes are, man. There's so many storylines in this that it's amazing, and some very good things to talk about. So looking forward to that, y'all. I really appreciate y'all for tuning in to the video. Gonna try to drop another video this evening in regards to Madden and NBA Live, some video game stuff, so tune in for that. Also, Madden's coming out next week. If you have Xbox, you can play the EA Access version. I want to say it starts on Thursday. You'll probably be able to download it Thursday and then play it in its entirety until you run out of your 10 hours of preview time. So definitely check that out. Like I said, y'all did play the beta, and I've heard they improved the beta while we were playing the beta, but I heard there were even more improvements after the beta. And if you have the PS4 Pro with a 4K television with HDR, or even the Xbox One X, I'm going to tell y'all those graphics are phenomenal. The graphics are definitely improved. So look out for that. Mr. Florida and Chad, I know y'all got y'all's copies. Haven't forgot about y'all either. Appreciate y'all for all of that. Appreciate the love and support, y'all. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more. Till next time, thanks for watching, and God bless.